Okay, guys. Good morning. Soul Intuition here. I am getting ready for work. Actually started at a new dealership, so I think it was a good move. I like just started literally Thursday, so I was like doing training and stuff. Try to get on the floor a little bit, but right now it's just more about getting product knowledge and learning about the new owners, the company I work for, blah blah blah. So anyway, the reason I'm posting this, I have to let you guys know about the date that I went on last Friday. Now, it kind of wasn't supposed to be like a date. It was somebody that I knew for a little while. Hadn't seen him in a year, so we decided to. Well, he said he was gonna come down near where I live, and we would just get something to eat. It was gonna be really quick. He was gonna go back up to study, go back home because he's studying for some kind of school. Anyway, so that's kind of the backstory. But I had met him a while ago. Things didn't really work out, and but we kind of remained friends, I guess you could say. Um, so anyway, now I am, as you guys know, I'm on a dating scene now, and I started, I have my own dating blog, and it's called She's Dating Again.blogspot.com. And I had it for a while, but I kind of stopped dating because I met, the guy from Bali, and he and I were getting really close and all this and all that. So, but that ended, and I'm not, really bitter about it or regret it or anything. And I don't feel like I'm carrying a lot of baggage from it. So I decided to, I waited like a little while, not too long. How long did I wait? Maybe. Oh, I waited like a month, and then I got back in the dating scene. But before I met him, I wasn't really dating at all, and it had been a really long time for us dating. So I'm cool. I'm ready. I invested a lot of time alone, a lot of time to myself to know me and what I want and everything. So I know that was a long introduction, but let me tell you about this date. And the reason I'm not writing it, the reason I decided to videotape it is really because I don't think I can express fully the actions that he made through through my words, just writing it. So I want you guys to get the full gist of everything. That's why I'm taping it so that I can kind of like act things out. All right, so this is so crazy. So anyway, you know, uh, he sent me a message. Well, I saw him on Plenty of Fish, so I just was like, fancy meeting you here, 'cause we actually met in person when we did meet. I was like, oh, fancy meeting you here. How's everything? And I wasn't sure he would respond at all because I kind of just stopped responding to him because I had met the other guy, and he was on the ship with me, so it was no point in me trying to continue something with this guy over here. Um, just through emails and texts and phone calls when I'm in my home port, you know what I'm saying? But it's also because he said, hey, wow, it's been like 9 months. It really was a year, but he's like, it's been like 9 months since I heard from you. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And he's like, I texted you and emailed you. And I'm like, when you text me, I probably was off to sea. I'm like, but emails, I just didn't answer because I ended up meeting somebody. He said, oh, I kind of figured that was the case. So I was like, yeah, I'm sorry about that. I should have just let you know instead of just not talking to you, whatever. And he's like, no, it's all good. So anyway, he's in the Navy, and so he's kind of like, that was the only reason that I even kind of dealt with him was for, even though I was going to the ship because he ships out and all that. So we just said it would be cool for us. Anyway, look at me, I'm all distracted. I'm putting my makeup on the wrong way, but anyway. Backwards. You gotta put the liquid on first before you draw your eyebrows. Anyway, so like I said, fast forward to a year, like, and he was saying, like, what happened to me. I told him, and then, I was like, well, we should get something to eat or whatever, just kind of catch up, see how we're doing now and all. And he said things hadn't really changed too much for him, but yeah, he was down with getting something to eat, but like maybe Sunday or something. And this was a Friday. This Friday that just passed, actually. So I'm like, okay, well, you know, hit me up when you want to. So he ended up changing it to Friday. He's like, oh, let's go out Friday. Let's go out tonight. It was that night. He's like, let's go out tonight, and but I can't stay long. Just let's get a bike so I can get back home and study. I was like, yeah, no problem, because I'm not really, looking at him that way anyway. I just wanted to kind of catch up, and it was something to do to get out, because I'm really just trying to get out, because I work a lot, and then I just stay home a lot at the same time. So I was like, let me kind of get out the house, more now. So anyway, we meet up, and he looks pretty much the same, but he actually looks a lot older for some reason in this year that passed. Maybe he went through a lot, I don't know. But he looked a lot older than I remember him looking before, last year. And mind you, we only hung out one time last year, too, because I shipped out that Friday, and we met like that Tuesday or Monday, something like that. Met up. Well, we met the first time, got each other's information, exchanged numbers and stuff. But anyway, I'm making this longer than it needs to be. Okay, let me get down to the nitty gritty. So he showed up. We went to this place called Mix. It's up here, not too far from where I live. A lot of Marines hang out there. A lot of military people hang out there. It's a nice, cool spot. Food is delicious. Music is good. The atmosphere is great. Laid back. All right. So I figured let's go there. And he told me exactly what time he was going to get there, and he was there right on time. I was there on time, too. And I say that because a lot of times I'm late, but I was there on time. And he was just like, I don't know, he couldn't find the entrance or whatever, and I was trying to kind of tell him where it was. Like, I called him so he could find it, but anyway, so he did. And we met up in front, and it was great. Like, at first, I was like, oh, hey, how you doing? Like, we gave each other a little hug and blah, blah, blah. And we went in to go sit down. And I'm telling y'all, like, 10 minutes after we sat down, this DJ comes on, and he's like, yeah, it's Friday night, I'm DJing a mix, blah, blah, blah. The music gets loud, and it's so funny because as we're talking, it gets louder. It seems like every song, they turn up the volume even louder. And he looked so frustrated, and I was like, I'm so sorry, I didn't know that they had a live DJ at night. I was like, because I haven't been here in a while. But, are you okay with that? He was like, kind of can't really hear you talk, but yeah. So I said, well, just move your chair closer to me, because, we were sitting opposite each other. So he came around the side of the table and sat right next to me. And then we could hear each other better. So basically I was like, asking him how everything was going in the last year. What was he doing? Has he met anybody? Blah, blah, blah. He said no. And I said, what? Even after a year, are you still out there? Are you still in the market? He was like, yeah, I kind of, I don't know. I said, what is it? He was just like, and this is the beginning of the weirdness. So he's like, well, I kind of don't really trust relationships. And I was like, why? What happened? He's like, he's like, making like all these crazy faces, and I was like, okay, I'm assuming that Mr. Heart got broken or something. I'm like, okay. So, but then like the rest of the time, he's making like all these faces, like so extra over the top, like doing way too much with his facial expressions and stuff. And then I'm noticing, like, because we were talking about what we wanted to eat, and he said, what's good here? And I said, well, the steak is really good, or it used to be. I haven't been here in a while, but the steak was, like, really good. He's like, okay, I think I'm going to order the steak. And I'm like, steak? Where did that accent come from? And I was trying to place it, like, what kind of accent is that? Now, he's Filipino, okay, and he's from California, so his accent is, like, American, but it has a tiny little hint of like Tagalog there. But anyways, I'm like, where did that accent come from? He was like, oh, it goes in and out. And I was like, now I know I've only seen you twice before, but I said, you didn't have that accent when I met you last year. He said, oh, no, I know. He said, I kind of came up with my own accent. Okay. Why? And he said, well, he had, I guess he didn't say when, but I'm assuming it was during the year I was going. He was just like, he was in Singapore for a while with the Navy, and him, you know, being Asian, but not obviously not being from Singapore or whatever, you know, he and having an American accent. He said people always look at him funny. So I'm like, okay. So he's like, yeah. So I just came up with my own accent, and I was like, but you're home now, so why are you still using it? And it was just so weird, y'all. It was so weird. Because he was speaking like Australian, but it wasn't exactly Australian. It was like really weird. So anyway, I was like, alright, okay, interesting. Then he's like, well, you know, we're still talking to my I said he's getting like super animated. Next comes the food. So honestly, the conversation really wasn't bad. It was just, I mean, the accent was weird, but he was super animated, but he still was nice and stuff. So you know, I was just like, okay, whatever. He's a little off, and okay. Um. So the food comes. We did end up ordering a steak, and it was a huge steak, so we shared it. And when it gets down to the bone, you know, he's like, kind of looking at it like, I could just see in his face he really wanted to eat it, you know, because there was a lot of meat still, but it was close to the bone, but he wanted to, you know, he didn't want to be like all on the bone during the dinner. So I'm like, do you want to eat it off the bone? He's like, I'm like, go ahead, pick it up and eat it or whatever. He's like, you sure? I'm like, yeah, go ahead. So he goes like, you know, he picks up the bone, and I'm not exaggerating. He goes like this, like, and I'm looking at him. I'm like, why are you moving your head like that? He's like, so I can tear it off the bone. I'm like, no, but you're biting it first and then moving your head. And so then he picks it up again and he goes, like, is that better? I'm like, you are so crazy. Like, what is wrong with you? He's just like, I just want to get the meat off the bone. I'm like, this dude is off his rocker. So next, okay, that's not even the end of it. So I just sit back and let him do his thing. Like, go ahead, eat like a Neanderthal if you want to. That's fine, whatever. I'm thinking he's just gonna kind of, you know, whatever. Anyway, so after that, the music is playing, you know, the whole time, but then the song comes on, Usher, yeah. And he looks at me, he's like, oh, this is my song. And I was like, you want to dance? He said, do you? I said, I don't want to dance. Go ahead, I'll dance for it. Go ahead, dance. And I meant it. Because I know, you know, a lot of times women, we test guys, be like, what you going to do? No, really, I meant it because I wasn't interested in him like that. So it's like, you know, go ahead. So he goes and he dances. But again, dude takes it overboard. So not one song, not two songs, three going into four songs. This dude is still up there dancing. So I'm like, ew, maybe I should just freaking leave, okay? Now he's behind me. I just don't even look back at him. I don't even look. But I hear people starting to go like, woo, yeah. And I'm like, I know they're doing that about him because it was all quiet before he jumped up there. But I refuse to look back there. I'm not going to look back. And I didn't look back. But I said, I'm not going to look back there. Next thing you know, I'm getting a tap on the shoulder. And I'm thinking it's going to be him when I look up. No, it's not. It's some drunk lady tapping me on the shoulder. And she's like, you want to dance? And I'm sitting up here like, if you watch Game of Thrones, I gave her a thirsty face, okay? I looked at her like, girl, die. Like, I looked at her like, I was just like this. Like, and I just looked back down at what I was doing because I had pulled my phone out. I usually don't pull my phone out, but since he was up there, I was looking on Twitter to see what was going on. And I looked at her and looked right back at my phone. I didn't even answer her. And then she texted me again. She's like, are you going to dance? Your friend's dancing. No, I don't want to dance. You don't know. Oh. So she leaves, like, what's her problem? That's how she's looking at me. And then he comes back and sits down, all out of breath and excited and stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I was about to leave because I was contemplating about to leave. So I told him, I said, you know what? I was about to leave. He's like, you about to leave? With that dumbass accent. I was like, yeah, I was about to leave. And he was like, why? I'm like, I mean, it seemed like you were having a lot of fun and, you know. And he's like, just looking like a dummy. And then, you know, before I could really say anything much, like that was basically it, he starts making these gestures, looking at someone behind me. And he's like, you know what? At that point, I just got up. I just got up. I tapped him on his shoulder. Like, you know what? You had fun with your new friends. I'm leaving. I'm going home. I proceeded to grab my little wallet bracelet thing. I left. I was out. That was just too weird for me. And that end part, that was just so crazy. And I know, like, some people I told the story to, they were like, that's so mean. And other people were like, yeah, I'd have left too. I mean, what do you think? Would you have left? Would you stay? Like, I mean, it was just too much. It was just weird. And then too, when he stayed up dancing all that time and then came back and I can't even have a conversation with him because you gesturing to somebody else, and it doesn't matter what my intentions were. Like if I was wanted to date him or not, that's beside the point in my opinion. Like I think he was just being a little too much. So I straight up left, and he didn't even have the guts to call me. He texted me like, "Why did you leave me? I don't understand." And I text him back because you're clueless and a jerk. I was gonna put a-hole, but I didn't. Okay? And he just texted me back, that's unfair. No, unfair, just that single word, unfair. I was like, okay. I didn't even respond after that. Like I did feel bad for just leaving, but I didn't really know what else to do. Like I was so confused and put off and a little embarrassed and a bit all of the above is what I felt. And I said, this dude, if he did want to try to date me, that's not the way to do it. Like, I mean, it was coming off as it's just dinner and us kind of catching up and talk about things that have been going on, and you know, and that's fine and dandy. Cause I kind of got my eyesight on somebody else, but that's beside the point. Like, it's just certain etiquette that you have, and it's just rude. And I'm like, obviously, I don't need to be here. You know? So that was all. That was the craziest date that I've been on in a very long time, and one of the worst dates I've ever been on in my life. And even though I didn't meet him on Plenty of Fish, I still rated his date on Plenty of Fish, just so he could kind of get a little bit of a clue. But I'm just surprised he didn't call or kind of come out after me. But honestly, y'all, I didn't wait. So if he did come out, like, and I was parked right in front of the front door. So if he did come out, I missed him. Like, you know, because I was going. I didn't even hesitate. And I did feel bad for leaving. You know, that's not something I would normally do. Y'all know how I am. I'm pretty good with that, and I'm not rude at all. But it was just too much. So, anyway, this video was super long. I apologize for that. You know, I get on tangents and I digress. But let me know what y'all thought about it. And also, come check my dating blog out. She's dating again. .blogspot.com. Peace.